Definitely, there's some good news, but there's also some concerns that need to be addressed. So let's look at both the positives and the negatives in the inflation figures. Let's look at the positives first. Number one, inflation rate has cooled to a 5-month low. So, to a 4-month low in the month of July. Now, what's the new rate? Inflation rate has fallen down to 6.7% in July from 7.01% in June. In fact, the rate has fallen for the third straight month. It went down in June and May as well. Now, this rate is the lowest that we've seen since March 2022. But there are serious concerns still. Inflation still remains above RBI's 6% threshold for the 7th straight month. Secondly, inflation has been above 6% this year, primarily because of global supply disruptions due to the war. Before this, if we get you an example, last year in July, the inflation rate was 5%, close to that figure. So compared to that figure just a year ago before the war, inflation is still really high. Third, inflation for fuel and light is rising. It went up from 10.4% in June to 11.8% in July, though inflation for food and beverages has in fact gone down. Now, another concerning point is that rural inflation is above urban inflation for the second straight month, meaning that like many other factors, even in inflation, rural India is being impacted more with a higher rise in prices that they're witnessing. Rural inflation is at 6.8%, higher than urban inflation at 6.5%. Now, what could take inflation down even further are lowering crude oil prices. Crude oil prices are down by over 9% in just the last month, and that could help bring down inflation even further. Even globally, we're seeing inflation coming down in major economies such as the United States, but it's also rising in some countries. So in a nutshell, we can see an easing trend of inflation, but still not a comfortable position as the concerns are still far from over.